Have you ever wondered about the origins of scumming in Kenya? Today, we're going to journey into this intricate world of deceit and trickery. The term scumming is synonymous with fraud or scamming, a practice that unfortunately has taken root in various forms across Kenya. But why is it important to understand this phenomenon? Well, like a disease, to cure it, we must first understand it. Scumming is not simply about the act of deception. It's a reflection of deeper societal issues plaguing the nation, from economic hardship to the lack of adequate educational opportunities. By examining the intricate workings of scumming, we can begin to address these underlying problems and work towards a solution. In this series, we'll explore the different types of scams that occur, particularly during the summer periods when incidents often spike. As we delve into the history of scumming, we'll unravel how this practice has evolved over time. Scumming in Kenya has a long and complex history. It's a tale woven into the country's narrative, dating back to pre-colonial times. Back then, scumming was less about deceit and more about survival. In a harsh, unforgiving landscape, people had to be cunning and resourceful, outwitting both nature and fellow humans to ensure their survival. These early instances of scumming were not viewed negatively. Rather, they were seen as necessary strategies for survival in a challenging environment. As the country transitioned into the colonial era, scumming evolved, taking on a new face. Scumming became a tool of resistance against the oppressive colonial rule. The indigenous people, feeling the sting of exploitation, would often resort to cunning tactics to evade the harsh realities imposed by the colonial masters. These were acts of defiance, strategies to reclaim their dignity and sovereignty. With independence, however, scumming didn't disappear. It merely changed form again. The post-colonial period saw the rise of corruption and fraud as the new face of scumming. The struggle for resources, power, and wealth led to the emergence of sophisticated forms of scumming. It became a way to get ahead, to circumvent the system, to exploit the weak and vulnerable. Over the years, scumming has become entrenched in the Kenyan society, evolving with the times and adapting to the changing socio-economic landscape. From the simple survival tactics of pre-colonial times to the complex fraud and corruption schemes of today, scumming has been a part of Kenya's history. Yet, it's not just a historical relic. Scumming continues to persist, its impact felt across all levels of Kenyan society. It's a problem that needs to be addressed, a challenge that needs to be overcome. But to do so, one must first understand its roots, its evolution, and its impact. This historical perspective provides a foundation for understanding the present state of scumming in Kenya. Because only by understanding the past can we hope to shape a better future. Fast forward to today, scumming in Kenya has taken on new forms. We are no longer talking about the straightforward con games of yesteryears. The scammers of the 21st century have upgraded their arsenal and are now more sophisticated and cunning than ever before. In the land of the lion and the elephant, where the sun kisses the savannah goodnight, a new predator has emerged. This predator doesn't hunt for food, but for opportunities to exploit unsuspecting individuals. They come in the form of online scammers, fraudulent investment schemers, and identity thieves. Online scams are rife, with fraudsters using the internet as their hunting ground. They use a variety of tactics, from phishing emails to fake lottery winnings, and even romance scams. These online crooks target unsuspecting individuals, luring them with promises of quick riches or love, only to disappear once they have emptied their victims' bank accounts. Next, we have the fraudulent investment schemers. With the allure of high returns and low risks, they entice people to part with their hard-earned money. They weave convincing stories of lucrative investment opportunities, often backed by fake testimonials and fabricated success stories. However, once the money is transferred, the schemers vanish, leaving their victims with empty pockets and broken dreams. Finally, we have the identity thieves. These are the scammers who steal personal information for malicious purposes. They could use your information to apply for credit cards, take out loans, or even commit crimes in your name. They don't need much, just enough personal information to pass off as you. The evolution of scumming indicates a significant shift in tactics, largely influenced by advancements in technology. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected, the opportunities for scammers also increase. The predators have adapted to the new digital landscape, and it's up to us to stay vigilant and protect ourselves from falling prey to their schemes. Scumming, while often overlooked, has profound impacts on Kenyan society. Let's delve into this. It's a multifaceted issue with social, economic, and psychological implications that ripple through communities and individuals alike. Socially, scumming creates an environment of mistrust and fear. It undermines the very fabric of society, leading to a breakdown in social cohesion. People become wary of each other, cautious in their interactions. It's like a constant game of cat and mouse, everyone on edge, unsure of who to trust. This kind of perpetual suspicion is toxic to community spirit and unity. Economically, the effects of scumming are equally profound. It discourages both domestic and foreign investment, stifling economic growth. Investors shy away from putting their money into businesses, fearing they might fall victim to scumming. This lack of investment leads to fewer job opportunities and a stagnating economy. The money that could have been used for development ends up in the pockets of scammers, creating a cycle of poverty and inequality. But perhaps the most insidious impact of scumming is psychological. Victims often experience a range of emotions from shame and guilt to depression and anxiety. They feel violated, their trust betrayed. The psychological trauma can be so severe that it affects their ability to function in day-to-day life. And let's not forget the stigma attached to being a victim of scumming. It's a burden that many carry in silence, further exacerbating their distress. The impacts of scumming extend far beyond the immediate victims. It affects entire communities, creating a ripple effect that touches every aspect of life in Kenya. It's a societal issue that requires a societal response. That's why raising awareness and implementing preventative measures are so crucial. We need to create a culture of vigilance, where people are aware of the risks and know how to protect themselves. We need effective laws and regulations to deter scammers and protect victims. And we need support systems for those who have fallen prey to scumming to help them recover and rebuild their lives. Understanding the impact of scumming is crucial in devising effective strategies to combat it. And that, my friends, is a fight we must all take part in. In the face of this challenge, various efforts are underway to combat scumming in Kenya. The Kenyan government, NGOs, and even ordinary citizens are rising to the occasion, setting in motion a series of measures to counteract this menace. One of the key strategies in this fight is law enforcement action. The Kenyan police, in collaboration with international partners, have stepped up their efforts, conducting operations to dismantle scumming networks. These operations often result in the arrest and prosecution of key figures involved in these fraudulent practices. In addition to law enforcement, education has emerged as a crucial tool in the fight against scumming. Several NGOs are conducting awareness campaigns aimed at informing the public about the various forms of scumming and how to avoid falling prey. These initiatives target schools, community centers, and even online platforms, reaching a wide audience and equipping them with the knowledge to stay safe. Yet the battle against scumming isn't confined to the physical world. In this digital age, technological solutions have become indispensable. Cybersecurity firms are developing advanced software to detect and prevent scumming attempts. These technologies are being integrated into email services, social media platforms, and financial systems, creating a robust digital shield against scumming. On a more individual level, Kenyans are taking up the mantle of responsibility, reporting suspicious activities and refusing to engage in scumming practices. This collective action is fostering a culture of integrity and accountability, vital elements in the long-term fight against scumming. However, it's important to note that while these efforts are making a difference, they are not a silver bullet. Scumming is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach. It's a battle that calls for continuous vigilance, innovation, and most importantly, collaboration. These efforts, while commendable, highlight the ongoing struggle against scumming in Kenya. The road ahead may be long and arduous, but with continued dedication and resilience, the tide can and will be turned against scumming. Scumming in Kenya, as we've seen, is a complex issue with deep historical roots. From its inception, it has morphed and adapted to the changing times, becoming a part of the fabric of society that we must now work tirelessly to unravel. Today, scumming is more prevalent than ever, affecting the lives of many Kenyans. Its impacts are far-reaching, seeping into the economy, politics, and the daily lives of ordinary citizens. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are concerted efforts underway to combat this menace, with initiatives aimed at education, legislation, and enforcement. We've journeyed through the history, examined the present state, and looked at the impact. We've also seen the hopeful signs of change as Kenyans rise to the challenge. The fight against scumming is an ongoing one, and every one of us has a part to play in it. By understanding scumming in Kenya, we can better equip ourselves to recognize and prevent such practices in the future.